crypto pirates, welcome to Chatting with the Captain. I am the Captain, RG3, here tonight to bring on a special guest. Trying to get the new show, Chatting with the Captain, rolling. I think we got to fix the sign there. It looks like it's a little out of the shot. But anyway, but the what do you call it? The focus is working. The cameras are working. Lights are flickering. Everything's working fine. So I'm not going to mess with anything yet. So we'll fix that little bit of an issue later. Welcome, everybody. We're going to start changing things up with the Discourse Syndicate stream, bringing you more guests, bringing you more Pulse content, more PulseX content, more crypto that's going to change the world content. You know, my narrative before, hey, Johnny Rico, thanks for the $50 drop on us there, man. You are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot, Johnny Rico. Two legends right here. Wow. I don't know if I'm a legend yet, but maybe in my own mind, but I know George is, that's for sure, because he's doing some amazing stuff and I'm just putting a light on it. That's all I do. The captain just puts lights on things, and hopefully it's enough that you guys can see what it actually is, because I'm really excited about this, because this is something that I've been looking at for a very, very long time. Anyway, we'll get into that, but welcome to the stream. Thanks, everybody. It's been a really, really, really tough week. We just got done with the filming of the highest of stakes. Well, my portion of it anyway. Thanks, everybody, for all the support. It was I'm telling you that Hollywood stuff is a lot of damn work, man. A lot of work. It's I threw my back out doing that stupid workout scene, so they made me look really, really good. That's all I can say, is that it wasn't as glamorous as they made it look. They do a great job of what they do. But I did get in there and throw the weights and the tires and all that stuff around, and but I threw my back out right when I started. So anyway, but those guys are doing a great job. I can't wait till this week is over. They're finishing up filming, and then they're going into the studio, and we're actually going to see production here probably close to somewhere around the end of the year. So looking great what's going on there. So really proud of the highest stakes guys for all the work that they're doing. And they're amazing people. Okay, so real quick into the chat room. Hey, what's up, little guy? How you doing, Briss? Good to see you, man. I saw your Lollipop Guild video. That was really, really cool. Heximus Maximus, what's happening? I think I saw Crypty Girl in here a little earlier. I could have swore I saw her. Yep, look at that. Crypty Girl's here. She heard George was coming, so she decided to show up to the show. Thanks for showing up, because George was here, Crypty. Appreciate you. But anyway, welcome, Meltoni, Junior USMC. Oh, Raw. D-Raj is in the house. Hex Factor, Donnie D. Long live Hex. Anyway, thanks, guys, for all showing up. Appreciate you. So the guest here today is touching a subject that is near and dear to my heart, because I've always thought that something needed to be done about the world's energy issues. There is enough of it to go around. There is enough resources to go around. In my culture, we've always realized and known that, but you just have to respect those things, take care of those things, and distribute those things equally, and find a way to do that. And make everybody happy, and we can be a lot more efficient in the world than we are today. And I think that this next guest and their company and what they're doing is actually working on doing that. And I think they've found a solution, and we're excited about it, because once again, Pulse Chain, a crypto product brought to you by Richard Hart himself, is going to be one of the main reasons of why all of these cryptos are successful. Now, remember, the captain has always been saying, fix crypto, fix the money, fix the world. Well, guess what? I have no doubt in my mind that Pulse Chain is going to fix crypto. Let's just call it fixed. We're just waiting for the launch. So crypto's fixed. So now the new narrative is just fix the money, fix the world. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to bring on one of those men who is trying to do that. This is my man, George Wentz. How you doing, buddy?
Captain, I am doing well. How are you? It's great to see you.
I'm excellent, and it's great to see you.
Good,
So
good.
we've got a whole bunch to talk about. Let's talk about your pedigree. So I started reading a little bit. I'm like, okay, so I've heard George, my partner, he Kinetics, he went and met with you, and a
Yeah,
lot of
great
people I
guy.
know have gone down and seen you. But I started reading a little bit about you, and my man, you got one hell of a pedigree. You and I have one thing in common. Ronald Reagan, both you and I were appointed by him to do a little job back in the 80s, but you had a different job than I did. But maybe you can tell us a little bit about your history and where you come from and what was going on back then.
Well, I grew up in the Baltimore area, Maryland, and I'll tell you a funny story before I get started on that. I was watching your intro here, and you know what I did before I went to law school? Do you know?
Let's hear it. No,
I was
I
a
didn't.
sailboat captain in the Bahamas.
Oh, nice.
Absolutely. Yeah,
So
man.
you're a real pirate.
Yeah, real pirate. Iron matey. That was me. Yeah. No doubt about it, baby. I was all over all over the Bahamas. It was fantastic year. It was incredible. I ran into a guy, and we grew up poor. We didn't have money in my family, and I did pretty well in school. And I thought I was going to get into a law school, and I graduated from college in 3 years instead of 4. So I had this odd year, and so I ran into a rich guy with a boat. And I said, man, you need a captain, and I'm your man. And I talked him into letting me take that boat down to the Bahamas. Here I was maybe 20 something, right? And I'd sailed all my life on the Chesapeake Bay, and I took that boat down there and I ran it for a year for him. And the deal was, no matter what law school I get into, you got to pay my first year of tuition. And we just had a handshake deal, and that guy was good to his word, and he was a great
Nice.
fellow, and he paid Georgetown Law School. It was incredible. That was a great deal for me because I got to sail that boat for a year, and he paid for my law school from it. It was incredible. So
Nice.
that's
And when was that? When did you go to law school?
79. I entered law school in 80.
In
I got
80.
out in
Okay.
83. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I
So
was
yeah.
running around that area in 85. So I was stationed in Yorktown, Virginia, and
Oh yeah.
I was commissioned by President Reagan at the time. Remember the Mr. Gorbachev tear down that wall and
Absolutely.
the nuclear dearmament. I was
Yeah.
involved in that project as a young Marine. So I was working down there, hanging out in DC and Georgetown every weekend. We'd drive up there and raise hell and have a good time.
I'm pretty sure we probably must have gotten drunk together then. I don't
We
know, but
must
it
have,
must
because
have been on me and
Baltimore
my
was the
goodness.
place,
Yeah.
man. That was the place to go.
Yeah, I was always hanging out in Georgetown. It was funny. I graduated in 83, and then I went down to New Orleans and I started practicing law. And I got another ocean story for you, because the first big case I got was a tanker carrying superphosphoric acid that was going to Russia, and it got caught in a storm off the Azores. You know where the Azores are,
Oh
right?
yeah.
If you're a
Yeah.
sailor, and
Safe haven.
broke apart. And man, it was a major disaster. And I got to try that case when I was a young man. And the guy that was supposed to try the case was in his 60s. And here I was, like 20 something. I was the bumblebee that didn't know I couldn't fly, right? And the old guy, who's now my age, right? He cracked up. The pressure was too high because it was the largest maritime case in the world at the time. And so I had to step in and try the case. And that was a break for me, because it got me off on a career path where I got all these, cases that were large casualty cases and things like that. Power plants blowing up, vessels sinking, buildings falling down, anything that was big and broke, man. They would call me in and say, what broke, and go get me my money back, So that was cool. It was, I remember those years very, very fondly of practicing law as a young man across the world. And it was really just a confluence of events that put me into a situation where I became known as a guy that could go in and try these cases, So it was great.
Nice.
I loved it.
So you say from the beginning you've been wrapped around energy and
Oh
power
yeah.
issues and the law and how
Energy,
things function.
transportation of energy, pipelines, all those types of things. I mean, I would go out when I was a young lawyer. I always say as a kid, but I mean, this is not when I was in elementary school. But when I first got down in New Orleans, you know, we had beepers, right?
Yep.
Remember beepers?
I remember
So you'd have a
those.
beeper, you'd put it next to your bed, and it would go off in the middle of the night, and that means somebody got hurt on an oil rig out in the middle of the ocean. So
Oh.
I'd have to drive down to the levee, and there was a thing called PHI, Petroleum Helicopters Inc., and they would fly you out to the oil rigs, and then I would do an investigation as to what happened, what went wrong on the oil rig, you know, and then that would become a case, and we would defend it, and those are the types of things we did. So I saw oil, you know, offshore exploration and production. I represented the law firm I was with represented BP. They had tankers and things like that. And so we got into the transportation of it. We represented Lloyd's of London. So every time something went wrong and there was an insurance claim, we would get involved. Pipelines, Permian pipeline, we had cases for them. Almost every single aspect of energy as a young man, I was litigating it, you know? So you got to know everybody. You got to see how it worked. You got to see all the things. You got to see every single thing that could go wrong. I mean, because that's what came through your door, you know? If it went right, they never called us. They only called us when it went wrong, you know?
And so, you were doing forensics on these companies. So you saw from the inside out what was happening.
Absolutely. I mean, I've crawled through shut down refineries. I've crawled through all kinds of crazy places, you know? And, yeah, that's what I did as a young man. And so I saw the energy industry from the inside out. And then, you know, for a while I represented the power company of Mexico called CFE. And I would do all the claims that they had throughout Mexico. So I'd be inside power plants, electricity production, lines, power lines, transmission lines, braking, anything that went wrong, you know, we went down there and we would handle it. We did that all over the place. So it was really interesting. I've sued Siemens, I've sued GE, I've sued Alstom, I've sued Rolls-Royce, I've sued, you know, you name them, I've sued them, right? And
it's funny, I worked for all those companies.
Yeah, absolutely.
After I got out of the Marine Corps, I was a millwright. So I moved heavy equipment, moved pipeline equipment, moved machinery. So I was working with all of those companies that you're talking about. And so I've had a look at it also. And
you and I have passed.
Yeah, right? Oh yeah, we've had to
passed paths, haven't we?
Yeah. And what I've always found interesting was all the inefficiencies, and the room for improvement in all of these industries. So I guess you too, seeing it from a different angle, also may have seen the same.
Well, you know, one of the things that always bothered me was marine transportation, because when you refine oil, there's a thing left over. You know, you take all the good stuff out of a barrel of oil, right? And then there's this nasty, it looks just like tar, and it's called bunker. They call it bunker fuel. And if you've ever been on a big offshore vessel, most of them are run on bunker fuel. And the Germans call it scheist. That's
we know what that means.
Like. Yeah, y'all get it, right? It's the nastiest, ugliest stuff that you could possibly try to burn. And when it comes out of the smokestack, if you ever see a cruise ship and things, and they put out those big black smoke, you know, big plumes of black smoke, that's because they're burning bunker fuel. And it puts out mercury, it puts out vanadium and strontium and all kinds of heavy metals and things into the atmosphere, and does a tremendous amount of damage to Mother Earth. And I looked at that, you know, from a young man, seeing tugboats up and down the Mississippi River running on bunker and heavy diesel fuel and really unclean fuels, you know. When you see it that way, and then you see power plants burning that kind of stuff. I mean, I've seen power plants down in Mexico that really all they're doing is boiling water, you know, because the way that you produce most of the electricity in the world is steam turbines. So you boil water, you create steam, you run it through a turbine, which looks like a big fan, and it goes around in circles real fast. And then it spins a generator, which creates the energy that we use, the electricity we use. So, you know, the trick is, how do you boil water cleaner? You know, I mean, it shouldn't be that hard, right? When you get
Yeah.
down to the nut of it, how do you boil water better? But I've seen water being boiled by burning bunker fuel to make the
Mm,
water boil to turn those steam turbines, and it just looks like they're burning rubber tires, you know, and it
mm,
stinks and it's awful. And the pollution that you see from that is extraordinary. And oftentimes it's in a really beautiful area of the world. Like Mexico has some incredible beaches, incredible ocean, you know,
mm,
and then you get this massive pollution running the tourists' air conditioning, you know, and you just
mhm,
go, man, there has to be a better way to do this. You know, this is not what the creator of the universe had in mind, I don't think, you know, when I
yeah.
think about that. And I look at that and being a part of it for many years and being involved in it, I always felt that there just had to be a better way. And I'm sure
Mm.
you've seen that in the military too. I mean, there's a lot of
Oh,
you know, what do tanks look like when they roll? What do the big half tracks look like? I mean, they're belching out particulates every time they move, right?
yeah. No, and the ships, and I mean, even the way, well, I don't think they do it anymore, but when I was in, we just throw the trash off the
Oh,
edge of the ship. I mean,
yeah,
stacks of it. We'd stack it up for a week and there'd be
yeah,
mountains of trash and they just literally would just throw it off the deck,
yeah. That
and
was what, the 90s,
in the 80s.
80s,
Yeah,
90s?
I was in the
Yeah,
80s. Yeah. Yeah,
yeah.
late 80s. 85 to 89 was when I was in. And
Okay.
yeah, it was I was taken back by it. My 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 culture, I'm Native American. We have a certain reverence for the earth itself and for the resources of the earth, and how those are to be taken care of. Of course, humans are to be taken care of too, but we're supposed to respect the resources that we've got. And I like hearing the way you talk, because you resonate with me as far as, I mean, you're talking about being an energy company, but you're speaking my language, which I like, because one of our tenants at our church, in fact, is make a difference, and I'm seeing that in your website as one of your tenants also, like make a difference,
Yep,
and
yep,
that's kind of the tenant that we had, was make a difference. So
yeah.
I resonate with what you guys are doing, so I appreciate it.
Yeah, there's just got to be a better way to do it. And you know, the whole deal that we looked at was you know, how do we get there? You know, how do we get there? Because do you remember? I love talking to people that are like close to my age, because a lot of times I come on and I'm talking to people that are in their 20s or 30s, and I'll say things and they'll go, "I have no idea what he just said or talked about," you know. But you remember Al Gore, right? And An
Of course.
Inconvenient Truth, you know.
Yeah.
And I think that came out when
Oh,
1990,
2000,
like 1999 or
98,
2000 or
99, somewhere
something.
around there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's been what now? 23 years, right? We
Yes.
started talking about the issue,
Has it been
right?
that long? Yeah.
23 years.
Yeah.
23 years. And you know, we started looking into it and we started seeing, you know, how have these guys done? You know, what difference has the Clinton Foundation make? Right? What has it
Yeah.
made? What has Gore been able to accomplish? You know,
Yeah.
what has John Kerry, who's still, you know, creaking around? He's got to be 90, right? And he's Biden's energy czar, right?
Energy
Or
czar.
global
Yeah.
climate czar, or whatever. You know, he's the guy that gets to go to Davos and hang out. You know,
Yeah. And
so
they've done nothing.
what have they accomplished? In fact, what we looked at is that while the demand for energy is going straight through the roof, 70% more. This was before electric vehicles. They estimated this estimation was made before the adoption, the rapid adoption that we're seeing now.
Mhm.
70% over the next 10 years increase. Now, because of the electric vehicle adoption, I think that number is low, you know? So it's going to be more than 70%. So that's what we've got to produce. We have to make 70% more electricity. We almost have to double it, right? But at the same time, the greenhouse gases are going up. They're not going down at all. And
No.
if you know, everybody who studies this thing says that it should be going in the other direction. So you got a problem. you're not even meeting the electricity demands of the world. And at the same time, you're polluting the heck out of the world, right?
Yeah.
So, you're Native American and you have your faith in your beliefs. Well, I'm a Christian and I have my faiths and my beliefs, and I respect everybody's faith. I never put my faith on some other people.
As do
I'm
I.
not
Yes.
that way. But I will just tell you what I believe. I believe that we are to be stewards of the earth. We are to be stewards, right? You use energy carefully on the front end, and then you make energy cleanly on the other side. You have to attack it really from both sides. You have to be more efficient and effective with the use of
Yep.
the energy, and you have to be clean with the creation of the energy. With 5 kids and 9 grandkids, I want to leave them a world that works. I want them to have the health that I have had and the opportunities that I have had, and doing it right, but not letting the government take it over so they squash freedom. That's the trick. How do you do it right? And how do you keep it out of the hands of a global governing system that wants to make people dependent on it, right? I'm a guy that believes in freedom, independence, and self-reliance. And I think that those are very good qualities. Now, do we help our fellow man? Of course we do. But do we become dependent, or are we productive? I think we should be productive, and I think we should be independent.
I agree.
I do think we're a community, and I think we help each other and we do our best. But we should not just be having, if the government controls our energy, it controls our lives. If we don't decentralize energy production, then we become slaves to a centralized government that controls energy. Well, energy controls everything. Try to do anything without energy, right?
Yeah.
You can't do it.
And when we say government, I want to be very clear that when we say government, we've got to understand who's really in charge of our government, and that's the lobbying powers that are sending legislation through our government. It's not these individuals that we like to poke fun at and say they're the ones that are the problem. It's really they're the lapdogs of these lobbying powers on K Street that are actually pushing all of this legislation and all of this favorable legislation for the power companies through, and keeping the problem that are going on perpetuating. They keep going until we get that money out of that system, or like you say, decentralize it and move it away from that. Then we're stuck.
Yeah, no, and you put your finger on it. I mean, until we say that we have disruptive technology. But what happens? Disruptive technology disrupts the status quo. So what happens when you disrupt the status quo? They lose.
They come after you,
right?
And they lose.
Who has the power? Who has the power? The status quo, right? So one of the tricks to the thing to make this work is, how do we finance it when we're fighting against the establishment that you just noted, right? How do we make that work? And can you go to Goldman Sachs? I mean, their nickname's Government Sachs, right?
Yep.
So you can't go there. Can you go to Wall Street? No, because they're back in the status quo. They're making money off the status quo. If we're going to disrupt the status quo, how do we do it? This is why we're reaching out to the people. And what we decided when we put our plan together is how to make this work. And we've got a synergistic approach of technologies and projects that get us to carbon-free production of electricity and carbon-free transportation. And if you do that, then you meet that demand that I described to you. And at the same time, the pollution is going down instead of going up. So you can reverse all those trends, right? We know how to do it. The funny thing is, people have known how to do it. It's not like some of this tech hasn't been known. The trick is getting it out of the box. And the trick to getting it commercialized is that you have to have some alternative form of backing to break through, right? And that's where MAD That's why I'm mad tokenized its equity. And that's where we went out to the people. And our deal is we create a green movement. We create a clean energy movement with the people involved. We make the people the solution to the problem, right? People want to help. People want to do the right thing. They don't know how to. So we got a plan. We put the plan out there. I come on, I talk with people like you, and then people hear about it, and they come and they look on our website and they see that they can get involved, right? They get involved. We've had an enormous outpouring of support, and it's just incredible. People throughout the world want this problem addressed, but nobody's ever told them how. And that's what we're doing.
Yeah. So let's talk about that plan, because I think that, I mean, we're not going to legislate the money out of politics anytime soon. You know, with all the things that have been put in place, they're pretty much solid. They've got a solid footing. K Street ain't going anywhere. It's almost like we've got to break down the back door and come in guns blazing, and that feels like what crypto is ready to do. And with companies like Mad Energy, you know, hitting the right industries, and with cryptos like Pulse Chain coming out, making crypto viable for human beings versus the crap that we've seen out there. You know, I'm really excited about the future. Can you lay out the plan a little bit so that we as cryptopians, all of us out here, can understand and get involved a little more with what you guys are doing?
Sure. So the thing is, what you got to do is you have to realize, I talk to a lot of people. Like I talked to RFK Jr., who's a great guy. He does a lot of work for autistic children. He's a wonderful man, right? But he believes that there should be no use of fossil fuels at all. He's what I call a keep it in the ground guy. Now, can we get away from fossil fuels? Yes, we can. Can we do it today? No, we can't, because people would die. You know, you said you have to honor and respect Mother Earth, but you have to take care of humans too.
Exactly.
And that is the real balance. So what do you do first?
Balance.
What you do first is you look and you say, how can I provide the cleanest energy possible to the world with the technology that I have right now sitting here on the desk, right? And so the cleanest energy that has been used and is capable of being used right now is natural gas. And you see people suffering in Europe because Putin and the Ukraine invasion and all of that. And there is now a severe shortage of natural gas throughout Europe. People can't heat their homes. They're running coal-fired power plants in Germany, right? That's a step backwards. Why? They don't have natural gas. They don't have enough natural gas to shift over to cleaner natural gas powered power plants. So if you look at how you can do that, so our team has been involved in the natural gas business for 25 years or so, stood up gas liquefaction plants. The trouble with natural gas is, how do you get it to where you need it, right? There's not a pipe that goes from South America to Europe. You can't do a pipe that long. So what do you have to do? You have to make it liquid. When you liquefy natural gas, it's 1/600th of the volume of gaseous natural gas, right? So you can take a massive conference room and you can of air, you turn it into about a golf ball size, right? That's what you take across the ocean, and then you have an efficient means of delivering the natural gas. So what we've done for years is we've stood up liquefaction plants. One of our directors, Walt Teeter, is the world's expert in this, truly is the world's expert in this. And so right now, what we're doing is we're focusing on standing up viable liquid natural gas facilities. And how are we approaching it? One of the big problems with exploration and production, when you go to an offshore well, or even if you go up to the Bakken in North Dakota, you'll see that when they get oil up out of the ground, there's associated gas with it. So they flare it. If you've ever seen those massive burning torches in the sky, well, that is the most polluting way that you can get rid of gas. Now, if you don't do that, the thing explodes. So you got to do something, right? but you shouldn't be putting all that terrible pollution in the sky. So what we're doing is we're recapturing that gas that would have been flared off of oil rigs, and we're taking it in, we're liquefying it, and we're using it to take it to Europe and solve the problem over there. We have a problem. We have a project in Suriname where we are producing 4 million metric tons. 18 months from now, we will be producing 4 million metric tons annually of natural gas that is being taken from what would have been flared. So we're taking a pollution problem, we're turning it into a plus. We're shipping it to Germany. We're knocking out pollution in Suriname, and then we're going to knock out pollution in Germany because we'll burn natural gas instead of coal.
Nice.
We're solving 2 pollution problems with the same project. It's a really good project. Plus, it helps the people of Suriname tremendously. So that's a project that's the example of the type of things that we do. That's what we do today. That's what we do here and now. But we want to get to the goal where we're actually producing it carbon free. And I think that the best possible solution for that, there's 2 possible ways to do it. One is hydrogen fuel cells, right?
Yes.
You produce hydrogen, you can put that into, and you can run a vehicle on hydrogen, and the only pollution you get is water out the tailpipe.
Yep.
So the problem is we don't have hydrogen. So what we've done with our LNG facilities, liquid natural gas facilities like the one in Suriname, we've taken it and we're producing clean green hydrogen at the same facility so that we can double up the production. So we're going to be adding a tremendous amount of hydrogen to the world's supply. And this is a very good thing because now we can have transportation that's carbon free.
Yes.
So
and I was just
that's
at a
all
meeting.
totally proven technology. There's no R&D on that. That's just putting things that exist together in a better way than they've been used before because we got 40 years of experience in the industry.
Yeah. And I was just in Italy, sitting down with a group that is actually working on vehicles that are hydrogen powered and also filling stations. And what they've done, and a lot of people are like, oh my God, hydrogen, that's dangerous. Well, no, they have low volatility hydrogen that they've created now that, you can literally go get a canister, throw it in the vehicle, and even in impacts and issues, these things are still fine. So they've got this, low danger hydrogen out there now, and the filling stations are really cool. I've seen them. They've just got racks that you pull your scooter up or your car or whatever. You pull these things out, and they change out. Boom, boom, new canister, and boom, on the way.
It's like changing out a propane tank at the Home Depot, right?
Exactly, on the forklift at work. Yep, same thing.
Yeah.
So very, very cool stuff. And like you said, zero emissions. It's water vapor.
Zero emissions. Yeah. Much better way to do it. The problem with most of the hydrogen in the world is that nowadays it's made from coal. See? So all you're doing is you're taking pollution and taking it away from the tailpipe, but you're putting it over to where the coal is making the hydrogen because you're putting just as much pollution in the air when you use coal to make hydrogen. So we're not doing that. We're using electricity to make hydrogen, we're just using electrolysis machines and fresh water. And so this is the way to do it. And then you're not putting that terrible pollution into the sky. It's like electric vehicles right now. All you're doing with the current electric vehicles is you're just transferring the pollution from the tailpipe to a coal-fired power plant. Right.
Which makes absolutely no sense whatsoever.
Not every time, but a lot of times. Right.
Yeah.
Because, and I'll tell you what you're not using. You're not using solar, because when do people charge their electric vehicles? At night when they get home, right?
When they get home. Yeah.
Yeah. Have you ever noticed that it's dark every night?
Yeah.
I've noticed that. So, you're not using solar power, guys, to charge up your electric vehicles right now. You're using some other form of power. Normally a coal-fired power peaker plant that kicks in when the solar energy is not available, because you got to have electricity 24/7, right?
Yeah. Yeah, you do. I mean, it's
Yeah.
necessary. And one of the cool things that I saw that the engineering companies of these vehicles have done is, so they've got you pulling into a spot with your car, whether it be hydrogen or electric or whatever it be, and as you go in for your meeting or whatever you're doing for dinner, robot comes out, drops the battery out. Now, instead of, having a car that you have to charge, they're literally making these now to where the battery will drop out, robot takes it away, another one comes, new battery gets popped in, and you're taken care of. Or the same thing with the hydrogen, it's filled, boom, 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 automatic, robot takes care of it, bam, bam. You come out and your car's always fueled up. So they're making,
that's pretty cool.
Engineering is there. I mean, these guys, I saw this stuff working. I saw it working. They've got whole cities in China that are doing this. They're building a city out here in California desert that does this kind of stuff. And it's all there. It's working and functioning.
It is all there.
and I think that what the world's waiting for is a blockchain. And I think that blockchain technologies are going to be important for this because it has to be decentralized. We have to decentralize these things, and blockchain is going to do it.
Blockchain allows it. That's why we tokenized our equity, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're only the third company in the world that's issued, tokenized equity. And we, I saw this coming. I ran into a friend of mine, a guy that also was a Georgetown law school grad. And I asked him, what are you doing? And he said, I'm replacing paper stock certificates and the entire NASDAQ and stock exchange with tokens. And I said, whoa, this was in 2017. I said, man, that is like, I was going around, I had done some work on the on the law of issuing cryptocurrencies. And there were a lot of cryptocurrencies that were not being issued in compliance with the law. And I was actually going to Silicon Valley, and I was talking and doing presentations and stuff. People would ask me to come in, and I was at one of those, and I ran into this guy. And because there was a way to do it right, it's just that people weren't doing it right. And so and he told me he was securitizing, he was tokenizing securities, and I never forgot that. And when we created MAD, I said, we've got to do it that way, because if we're going to make it easy for people to onboard, you can go to our website, you can click on the Invest Now button, and you can walk through it online. It's all automated. It is really slick. It took us a long time to get all that integrated under our website. But what it does is it revolutionizes and decentralizes capital. Exactly. What is Wall Street? Wall Street is the centralization of capital, right? Money. All that capital is right there. You got to go to one of those banks, and you got to bow down, and you got to, do everything that they want to make you do. But if they're not ready to see your tech come out, guess what? It's not coming out. That's why nothing has happened in 25 years. Why? A lot of people making money on it.
Yep.
It's the same story about Tesla. Tesla in the tower, right? His tower in JP Morgan, he had one lender. He had one backer, JP Morgan. JP Morgan saw that wireless electricity, and he said, oh my goodness, my copper mines aren't going to be worth anything. And so he shut the whole thing down. Bye-bye. So that's what happens when you have the centralization of capital, right?
Yeah.
But what the blockchain allows us, and tokenizing our equity allows us to do, is reach out to people all over the world.
Give it to the people.
How do you shut down a company that's backed by people all over the world? Right?
Yep. Because consensus is what you're talking about. We want to be efficient. We want to utilize this. Well, why burn this stuff off? Well, it's cheap and easy for them to do it, and it's profitable for them to do that. But the people say, hey, no, let's do it the responsible way. Let's do it the efficient way. And the more of us, and because of the power of the blockchain and because of the power of decentralization, we can get what we want. We can kick in that back door of what they're doing out there.
And the power of early adopters that got into crypto early, right, and hung on, they now have the ability to change the world. Yes, we do. And those are the guys that are coming into MAD, and they're saying, look, I've done well. I got in early, right? I've done well. Now I have some wealth. I'm going to try. I'm not going to be stupid with it, but I'm going to try to do something that makes the world a better place, right? I can't
Yes.
tell you how many crypto people I meet that what they really want to do is they want to do the right thing for their fellow man, and they want to do the right thing for the world. They're
Yes.
really motivated. I mean, we deal a lot with Hexicans, and I mean, I'll tell you what a community, what a tremendous community, all
Yeah.
those people, because you're partners with them,
Yep.
and they're just wonderful people that what they're thinking about is not how can I get ahead, how can I get an extra point, how can I squeeze this guy out, how can I get the last drop of money from the last barrel of oil on the planet, right?
Yeah.
What they're thinking about is how can I make this better? I've been so blessed and I've been so
Yep.
lucky, and how can I get it back? How can I give it back now?
To
And
whom
that's what
much
I
is
see
given,
all the
much is
time.
expected.
Absolutely, exactly. One of the great lines from Batman, right?
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I really, dig that about our community because, I mean, everybody,
Guess it was
flings
Spider-Man.
garbage. Yeah. I don't know where it came from, but I love it because
Yeah, me
it
too.
matters in this case, because there are a bunch of people in this community to whom much was given. And, we've always tried to create a space here to speak about the good that we can do in the world and about changing the world.
Right.
It's fun to talk about, wealth and Lamborghinis and all of that good stuff. But when it really comes down to it, it's about how can we go out and change the world, you know?
Yep.
And because of the wealth that we have amassed, because of the people that we have gathered, I think that we're going to do some great things here in the near future, in the real near future.
Yeah. And the thing is that those two goals are not mutually exclusive either, because
No.
energy makes money. I mean, it always has, right? I
Yep.
mean, we target between 15 and 20% returns, and we know what we're going to get because we design the whole projects from soup to nuts. And like when you make liquid natural gas, you enter into 20-year supply contracts with the people that buy it from you. So you've got it sold before you ever build the thing, you know, and how
Yep.
much money you're going to make, and you pencil it out because you know how much it's going to cost because we built them before and we have engineering firms and all the expertise to know. So it's not as if you don't make money with this thing. You do. Yeah, everybody that's involved in the MAD community is going to make
Yep.
money if we hit all of our goals. And you got to say all this forward, looking bullshit stuff, but
Yep.
anyway, no promises, no guarantees. Don't sue me. Okay.
Yeah.
But I mean,
but we're doing pretty damn good.
we're gonna make, when we hit our numbers and we do what we project here, which we know how to do very well and we've done before, this will all work, and the MAD community will become what will benefit from that because there's
Well,
distributions that go out, to the people, because the people that come in and support us, they actually own MAD. So when MAD
yeah.
makes money, they get the money, that's the
Yeah. So,
ticket. So
George,
it's not
it's about
mutually
pirating.
exclusive.
It's about
Sorry?
pirating, and it's about pirating. See, we're pirating the system. That's what this whole thing's about. That's what I'm doing here. I'm
Yeah.
a pirate. See, we're robbing from these guys. We're riding up next to them. We're blowing their holes up, and then we're taking the wealth and we're distributing it to the crew. Is what it is. So those who are with us are getting the distributions of that wealth that they've been hoarding, just like the pirates did many years ago, taking the
Yep.
wealth from those very greedy, very rich oligarchs and rulers and leaders and whatever, and
Yep.
we're redistributing it back to the crew that's doing the work, and that's
To the
us,
people.
the people. Yeah,
To the people, and the people are the solution, and that's why it's got to be decentralized, and that's why you could not have done what we're doing without the advent of blockchain. Ain't no doubt about
Exactly.
it. You put your finger on it, and I can't wait for Pulse Chain. So I mean,
Yeah.
that is going to be
And that's
super cool.
That fixes
And it's
crypto,
about,
George. See, we've been waiting for a long time. I got involved with a company, and I won't even say their name. They're green something, and they attempted to do what you guys are actually doing. They failed. They didn't do it was more of a scam than anything. But they had the same language, the same idea, and they knew that they could do it. But guess what? They didn't have a blockchain to run on. See, it's
right.
if you don't have fees that are manageable, a blockchain that you can run on that's going to give you throughput and all the things that we need,
Yep.
it's not going to work. It's not going
That's
to
where
work.
Pulse Chain is going to revolutionize
Exactly.
everything we're doing. It's going to be
Fixes
an
crypto.
effective. I mean, yeah, it's going to revolutionize crypto. It's going to be so cool to see. You know, I can't wait for it to come out. I believe we're near. You know, I mean, nobody knows, but I believe we're getting there. And I see Richard Hart tweeting things out. It looks to me like he's getting close. You know, and
really close.
so I think it's going to come, and we're really super excited about that, to be launching our. I think we'll be. I'm pretty sure that we'll be the first equity token that'll be minted on that on Pulse Chain, and that'll be really cool. What
Can't wait.
What the whole thing comes down to, though, you know, is at its core is liberty and freedom for the person, because you can control now what you're doing. You can control, right?
Yes.
If we decentralize finance, we decentralize energy, right?
Yep.
That makes tremendous freedom for the individual.
Yeah.
You know, and this is where I go back. I look in the 80s when I was in the Reagan administration. You know, we tried very hard, all the eggheads, you know, to like make a system that enhanced liberty for the individual. But blockchain actually, and crypto has actually done that.
Yeah.
It allows you to make your own decisions, take your own risks, right? And then you have the fuel to be free. That's what crypto has done. It is amazing.
And it circumvents us having to go get a constitutional amendment, which is absolutely just about impossible to even get to states
They can't
to
even
agree on
pass
the
a
same
law.
thing.
You think they can pass an amendment? My
It'll
goodness
never
gracious.
happen. It'll never happen. So Citizens United is solid in stone, never gonna go away.
Right.
And guess what?
Yeah.
This circumvents it. This kicks the door down and says, okay, well, if you ain't gonna let us go in and be represented by the people, for the people, by the people, then you know what we're going to do? We're going to create something where we can kick your damn door in and we'll fix this shit ourselves. And that's what crypto is going to do. And that's
you know what it supports. What it does is you say kick the door down, and I like that, and I like the pirate thing, and I like pirate. That's a great analogy. I saw the guns in the beginning, man. You know. And I've sailed in some of the waters that you started your pictures with, and I've been there. You know, I recognize some of that. But let me tell you what I think is maybe the way that we're approaching it is that we are going to create a more attractive alternative to what's going on, right?
Yes.
If I can provide cleaner, cheaper, more abundant power for the world, guess what? People are going to be attracted to that business model, right?
This is what the people want.
That's what the people want. And so you're going to see a sucking sound away from the polluters and away from it. And so I don't need to kick their doors in. What I need to do is have a better mousetrap, right? And so, you know, you think about it. If you are constantly paying for fuel for a power plant, is it more expensive than a geothermal plant where you're taking advantage of the natural heat that is beneath the surface of the earth, right? I don't need any fuel. I don't have fuel costs. Can I make a more abundant, cheaper, cleaner energy available to the world if I do that? I can, right? Of
course.
That's the ticket. And when I do that, and when the people come to MAD and they support that, that's what makes it happen. And then we do our job. Everybody makes money. But guess what? It's less expensive to get that electricity out there because we're not burning fuel. We don't have a fuel cost.
And the consumer benefits, the investors benefit, everybody benefits.
It's
Yeah.
huge benefit.
Yeah.
More abundant, cheaper, cleaner fuel. So, I
Yep.
mean, energy, electricity. So don't you think people are going to go there? People
Oh,
are going to
yeah.
go there.
They're going to
There'll be
flock
a
to it.
giant sucking sound, man. It's going to be whoops right over there, you know?
Yep.
So that's, I
Because
think it's
we're many, they are few. We are many, they are few.
Yeah, baby. That's exactly right. But what
And
we got to do
blockchain
is we
puts that
got to
power,
stick
gives us that
together.
power. Yep.
We got to band together. We got to come together because we
Yes.
are many. But if we think that we can't associate with people or we can't interact with people or we can't congregate together to solve a problem or we can't come together as a team, then they got us, right?
Yes.
I do think that they like to isolate people. And I think we
That's what
really
they've
have
been
to
doing.
overcome that. We have to
Yep.
overcome that. You can't spend your life in your basement playing video games, guys. You can't do it. You got to get
And
out there and kick ass and take names, baby. Get
exactly.
involved, you know?
Exactly.
Get
And
involved.
the other thing is, George, is that, we all come from, many different political backgrounds, religious backgrounds, different sports teams that we like, all this stuff. And when it really comes down to human nature, when I sit down and I talk with good salt of the earth folks like you, we agree on a 90% of the stuff
Yeah.
that we all agree upon: life, liberty, pursuit of happiness, family, love, freedom, all of those
Yep.
things. We all
Yep.
agree upon those things. And I want that for me. And I want that just as much for you or anybody else who disagrees on that little 10% of bullshit
Yeah.
that we all seem to be
Right.
so focused on right now.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
we need to focus on the 90% of the shit that we all agree upon, take these tools that we have and go and change the world, versus the crap that we're dealing with is we're all fighting about 10% of the bullshit that we don't agree about right now. And it's
Yeah.
just absolutely, utterly ridiculous when we have the tools that we have before us.
But you cannot look at any cable news program or anything and not come to the conclusion that that's exactly what they want, right?
That's exactly what
It's
they want.
divide and conquer, isn't it? It's
It's
divide
this
and
station
conquer.
versus this station.
Yeah.
You
Oh,
watch
it's
this
crazy.
one or
And
you
this
watch
tribe
this one.
versus that tribe, and this color versus that color. When I went to the law firm that I'm with now, Davalier Law Group in New Orleans, Louisiana. And by the way, I agree on everything you said except for sports teams. If you mess with my Saints, brother, it's all over. That's it, man. It's done.
I know.
Okay? That's it. Do that, baby. So,
I'm not going to say. I've always said we don't talk about politics, sports, or religion on this show.
There you go, man. Yeah, but don't you be dissing my Saints, baby. It's all over. No. Anyway, when we started the law firm, Davalier Law Group, I was the only white guy in the whole firm, and it's of nothing to us, I mean, we love each other. We disagree on things. My partner, Daniel, and my partner, Charlene, both wonderful, highly intelligent, wonderful, hardworking, African-American, brilliant people, right? I've been partners with them for 12 years. Do we agree on everything? I'm a Reagan guy, man. I'm a libertarian, They ran the Obama campaign in Louisiana, I mean, do we see eye to eye on everything? No, but we love each other and we work together as a team, because
it should be.
It's like, we have to get over, isn't it? We got to come together. We've got to come together. We can't be divided. The more we're divided, the more our enemies win,
Yes.
And there's a great effort to divide all of us against each other. And what I like, we have people on our Telegram chat room from MAD, from Australia, from everywhere. We got them from Thailand. We got them from everywhere. You name it, we got them. And they all are wonderful, contributing, fantastic people. The things they say give me spirit every day, And we would never all agree on anything. But you know what we agree on? We agree that we're coming together as a community.
Yep.
To join hands and tackle this problem.
Yeah.
And tackle it in a way that doesn't make Davos, the elites, the centralized power structure of the world control our energy.
Yes.
So that they can control us.
You're giving it to the people.
We're giving it to the people. And we're giving it to these lovely, wonderful people that just come on every morning. I wake up, I'll take a look at that thing and I'll go, oh, that's a great comment, man. Oh, that's a fantastic comment. Wow, what a smart person. And they're all over the world, man. So,
I'm telling
people, it's people. If you can just get with people, like I've sailed boats into foreign countries and just come up on the shore and stuff and met people and hung out in bars and have fun. And they're wonderful, right? I've been to China, I've been to Moscow, I've been all over. I'm like Johnny Cash. I've been everywhere, man. But the people are never the problem. I get along with Chinese people. I get along with Russian people. I get along with Thai people. I get along with people everywhere, right?
Yep.
The people, Vietnam, I love the Vietnamese people. They are not the problem. And that's why the decentralization, decentralized, autonomous organization, right?
Yep.
That means that there is no governing structure.
Nope. The real for the people, by the people.
Baby. Man, how about
right? It's exciting, man.
How about this? How about this concept? The most radical statement ever made, I think, in the history of man was unalienable rights endowed by our Creator, right? What did that make? That made a decentralized. Why? Because each and every single human had those rights directly from an omnipotent source of some kind. Autonomous. Why? Because there was no governing central power that could take those rights away. Why? Because they were unalienable, right? Organization. I think in 1776, there was a statement that was made that was the very first concept of a decentralized, autonomous organization. But until today, until the realization of blockchain, we have never been able to achieve it. But we can now.
Yep.
We can
now. Pulse chain is going to bring us together.
Pulse
chain is going to bring us together.
Pulse chain is going to realize the vision that was stated in 1776.
Damn right.
It actually is going to be freedom in action. That's what Pulse chain is going to be. It's freedom in action. I love it.
Love it. Love it, George.
Yeah, baby.
We've run out of time, man. I could talk to you for hours, my brother. It's been awesome having you on the show. And with that, we're going to have to close, though. So, man, thank you so much for coming on. We're going to have to chat again as our organizations get back together, get closer together here. And my partner, we actually share partnerships and stuff. So can't wait to get involved with you guys more and see what you guys do for the world. So proud of you guys. Man. Oh yeah, I'm definitely.
We would love to have you. We would love to have you, man.
I'm going to come visit for sure. All right, George, thank you so much for coming, man. We'll hang out in the back room for a quick second. I'll come back. Let me close out the show and I'll come chat with you for a second if you got a minute.
Man.
All right, thanks again. All right, everybody, thank you for joining. Hanging out with us tonight. Next Thursday, we'll have another guest. I think we've got Goldbug coming onto the show next week. Going to be really, really cool. So thanks everybody for participating. Chat room, you guys are awesome. If I missed any super chats, if there were any super chats in there, I apologize. I was really working on talking with George. We were having a great conversation, so I didn't want to trip it up any, but if I didn't get your questions answered, I apologize, guys. But hey, have a good one. We'll catch you on the Friday night hangout. Take care. See you. Bye-bye.